Hello, I'm life coach Terry Clyde. I want to spend some time with you today and talk to you about getting answers to some of your questions. I don't know how you're doing with your business or with your family right now during this time of change, but I've been in communication within the last 24 hours with people in a couple of different places in America, 3 different places in Africa, and 1 place in Pakistan. And the general consensus is that nothing is like it used to be, and all of us are having to make adjustments. Even for those people in America whose jobs have not been affected, a lot have had family members that have been displaced or have had jobs where things have had to shift. And we've begun to have to make new plans, new directions, get new ideas, have new shifts, new directions, all of those things. And so I want to just talk to you and give you some reminders today about getting answers to your questions. One of the courses that I teach here has to do with life planning, and long distance life planning is one of our coaching classes that I teach. And one of the questions in there is, how do you pick the right road to be on? How do you know when you're going in the right direction? And one of the things that is part of that conversation is that in order to find out what you need to do, you need to ask the right questions and get the right answers. Now, a lot of us have questions. And when we ask questions, the general human nature response for us with our own question is we're asking a question so that someone will tell us exactly what we want to hear, the way we want to hear it, within the time span that we expect to have to listen. And what we want is for somebody to give us a ready answer. No matter how complicated the question, I can't tell you how many times I've had somebody that would ask me a question and they would say, Terry, what do you think about this? And they're asking me a 15 or 20-second question that will take 2 weeks of explanation for them to get the full answer. And I can't answer. That's one of the reasons why sometimes people will post a question on Facebook and say, Terry Clyde, what do you think? Now, I'm not answering you on Facebook. This would require a face-to-face, long-term conversation, not me posting some quick answer there. So I want to encourage you to look for the good answers to your questions. Ask the right questions so that you can get the right answer. Now, like I said, most of us, we want to be able to get a quick answer. We want to do like this. Let me see, what's my question? Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm interested in a car, so I should buy it. I know that's the right answer because I just picked it off the answer tree. So I've got my answer now. I'm going to go buy me a car. And that's the way we want our answers to be. We want to just pick it off of the answer tree. Whatever the question is, we want to be able to turn around, pull that answer off the answer tree, and say, oh, the answer to my question is yes. What was I asking? Well, sometimes we get our answers and then we want to build backward to the questions. Look, there are going to be a lot of things in the next few months that you're going to need to really concentrate on, and you're going to really need to phrase your question well in your own mind and to those to whom you ask your question. And then you're going to have to weigh out the answers that you get. Some of the things that you need to remember are that when you ask people for input, they're not going to be able to give you a quick answer to what you need. Sometimes they're going to give you a partial answer, or they will give you their perspective on where you are. It looks like this to me. And someone else will say, well, it looks like this to me. And someone else, it looks like this to me. And then when you put all of those little pieces of the picture together, you say, oh, I see the picture. I understand now. But you've got those little pieces of perspective. Most of us, as I said a little while ago, most of us, our initial response is we want the answer that we want. So as soon as we ask somebody who 100% agrees with us, or that we can twist their answer to sound like we 100% agree with them and they with us, then we're ready to do that because it must be the right answer because I can't be wrong. Somebody else cannot give me bad information if they're agreeing with what I'm already thinking. And we don't want to hear things that are not within our sphere of acceptability of an answer. We want to be able to just ask a question, turn around, and pull an answer off of that answer tree. you can't do that. Sometimes you have to research before you know how to ask a question, so you know how to get enough other information to ask the real question that you want to ask so that you can get an answer. A life coach can help you sometimes. Sometimes a life coach can help you. Sometimes you need a medical doctor. Sometimes you need a mechanic. Sometimes you need somebody that does landscaping that can cut the yard, or somebody that can cook. You don't always get your answer from one simple source. So in the multitude of mouths, there comes pieces of wisdom that you put together into that coherent piece that you can get. You might say in the mouths of many counselors, there's wisdom. When you get those little tidbits of information from different places, they assemble into information that you can use. So be careful about just grabbing answers from somebody that seems to agree with you at that moment. Be careful of that. And don't look to just turn around to your answer tree and, oh, okay, I don't have to do that. I can just forget about it. Sometimes to forget and move on is the right answer. But if you don't have the money to pay a bill, or you're struggling with how to do your finances, forgetting that the money's tight is not an option. You don't just skip an electric bill. You have to make a plan. You have to ask questions. Mapping it out depends on who you're asking and how well you're receiving the answer. So let me tell you again. Ask good questions. Ask the right questions of the right people. And then when you get the right answers, put them in perspective. I've got several people lately have given me advice on one particular thing. And one person says no because it's dangerous. Okay, I hear you saying it's dangerous. I wasn't asking you for a yes or no. I wasn't even asking a question at the time, but you said no because it's dangerous. Okay, I hear you say it's dangerous. Someone else says it's necessary, but we need to be careful. Okay, I hear you saying be careful. And someone else gave me a piece of information having to do with the same thing, and they said yes, and this is a good solution. And the solution was good, and we were being careful, and when we did that, it was no longer a matter of not being careful because we were careful, so the answer is we go forward. So the first person who says no and we can't, actually, yes, we can. Over the weekend, I thought I was going to have to buy a new truck because mine died. And I asked a couple of people what they thought, and they said, it sounds like it's getting dangerous. You need to be careful. Gave me a couple of pieces of information. Somebody offered to give me a little money to help me with another truck, and I'm thinking, okay, we may be there. So I went out and looked at it over the weekend and raised the hood, and sure enough, nothing happened. No lights came on, nothing. I touched one little wire, and lights came on, and the truck worked. I moved my finger, and it quit. Put my finger back, and it worked. Took my finger off, and it quit. So I fixed that one little connection, and I've been driving my truck. So we can get answers that agree with us, and that doesn't mean we've always got the right answer. We can get answers that we like, and that doesn't always mean it's the right answer. We can get answers that confuse us and make us mad, and sometimes those are the right answers, and sometimes they're not. But this is a true fact. There is no answer tree. There is nowhere that you can just go and reach up in the tree and pull out the answer that's always going to be right for you. It's not always going to be that way. In fact, it's very rarely going to be that way. And very often we need to do a little studying in a book, study on a problem and ask a question, and listen to those that give us input. Like I said, I'm Terry Clyde. I'm your life coach. I'd be glad to coach you and talk to you. I'd be glad to teach you how to train folks. But what I want to do is I want to help you be the best you that you can be. And I really want to communicate to you that you are a person of value. You are worthy of respect. And I believe in you. And I believe that you can make good decisions. Be careful, though, and listen. And I do believe in you.